let's go to that venture back start. So I know that you got mentioned by someone to an investor, but let's just talk about like the bootstrapping aspect versus the investment. When did you know that you wanted to take on investment, and what was that process like?
Yeah, at least because Hunter joined Yak just a little after, but at least for me, Hunter, maybe you have a different answer. I think I always wanted to take on venture investing. Like it was like, man, this would be a dream come true. But like what Hunter was hinting towards and what he was saying is we didn't know how to get there, and we definitely didn't have the relationships to get there. So like again, in this small instance of this investor hitting us up, we got really fortunate. But years and years and years and years before this, right? We've been like building, like Hunter said, we've been building stuff. Some stuff did okay, some stuff failed, some stuff did well, whatever, right? And it's not like we went to like a sexy school or have this crazy background either. Like we went to a very normal, university. We didn't go work at like Facebook or Twitter. Like we just were really normal guys, to be honest. So I think that was always like, man, that'd be so cool to be one of those Silicon Valley startups one day. At least for me though, I didn't know how to connect the dots from point A to point B. But it was always in the cards for me. At some point in my life, I want to go do this. I just didn't know that it was going to happen in that specific context. Maybe Hunter has a different answer, but
I wanna double down on that because we knew we wanted to get there, but we never planned for it to happen. It was I wrote down before the show market pull. It was like the market loved our product that we built just for basic, again, solving our own problems. Yelling across cubicles. We had a full team in India and across the nation and the world. We had so many employees. We wanted to talk with them. We were solving our own problem. And so when the market said, "Hey, we like that too," someone, I mean, fate, whatever, put an investor in front of us, and it turns out investors wanted to invest in that product and technology as well. And I think it's not to be understated that we got lucky, right? Like we put this product out. I think Jordan, I want to say it was before AirPods came out. So when you talk about the technology of like audio and remote work, this is 2018, 2019. Our official launch of Yak. This is before we raised our Series A, I believe. Our official launch of Yak was March of 2020. And I don't know if the event industry, anybody out there remembers what was going on in March of 2020. But when you have a tool for remote teams called yelling across cubicles, because the cubicles aren't there anymore, there's only a handful of tools you can look at. And so we raised an enormous amount of money based off of just what the market needed, not necessarily what we wanted to happen. It's just necessarily what the market wanted to happen, which again, very lucky.
Yeah.
Hunter,
yeah,
back in March of 2020, we were yelling across cubicles to people that were no longer there. Um, everybody, everybody had been furloughed, and our industry had been shuttered, right? So, but listen, this is fascinating. So you were focusing, your product offerings were technology products. Do I understand that right? Correctly? Is that what you were focused on? And where was there an intentionality to a particular lane, or was it any technology? If we heard of a problem or witnessed or felt one, we would just try and tackle it, or was there something
we would,
more
yeah.
intentional, strategic?
Oh, we would try and tackle it if it was relevant to us because again, like we had always wanted to connect these dots. Like so take us random, and this was before remote work was cool, you have to remember too. So take these random young guys from Florida and then the powerhouses that are in Silicon Valley. We were just trying to connect those dots any way we could. And it was really damn hard at that point in time. So we were just putting stuff out there to see what would stick. We were trying to post online or whatever. Sometimes it felt like just like a shout down an empty hall, right? Um, but to your point, Chris, like that's why we were just putting out these technology products, and again, putting so many shots on goal. And then it's like, yes, we got lucky that somebody picked up Yak, but at the same time, we had put out so much volume, and we were posting so often, but nobody even noticing who we were. We went like one for like probably quite literally like probably one for like 1,000, right? Like I mean, one for 5,000 in terms of posts and stuff like that. So yeah, we were just trying to solve whatever problems were relevant in hopes that we could meet some of the people and connect those dots.
What were the
True.
stars aligned, Jordan, that ultimately put you guys on a plane to Silicon Valley?
Yeah, it was really nuts. So we had launched like V1 of Yak, on this product hunt thing Hunter mentioned. And then through that, word got out. Well, so then actually one of the random users of Yak had tweeted at Adam Draper and said, hey, you should check these guys out. And that was all public happening on Twitter, right? Like, and anybody and everybody could see this. And for those of you that don't know, Adam Draper is the grandson of the Draper family. The Draper family is the reason Silicon Valley exists. So when we talk in Silicon Valley, PayPal, Skype, Hotmail, Facebook, Tesla, SpaceX, all these companies, that family is the reason that all these companies exist, right? So that's what you got to like couch it with. So all this is very public, happening on on Twitter. And through that, I don't remember who it was or what the situation was, but somebody was like, hey, you guys should apply for this thing called Y Combinator. And again, for those listening, Y Combinator is this basically business incubator. It's like the best in the world business incubator out in Silicon Valley. And, companies like Reddit, Dropbox, Airbnb, whatever else has gone through Y Combinator. And somehow little us got invited to participate, at least interview in Y Combinator. You have to do an interview and then they accept you or deny you. Somehow little us got invited to do an interview in Y Combinator. And so the story online at this point was people were like, okay, what is going on? Like, again, remote work was not cool yet. So people were like, all right, these random dudes from Florida that literally nobody has ever heard of. Adam Draper's talking to them. Now people are talking about like they should come out to interview in Y Combinator. Like, who are these guys? Like, what are they doing? Like, what is happening? And so through that, the story kind of built traction online. And some other investors went, okay, well, if they're noticing something, like, what are we not noticing? Let's talk to these guys too. And so an investor was like, hey, come meet with us at our office. And again, we had never done like an official investor meeting where you like put on the nice clothes, you go meet in person, you bring your business plan. Like, we've never done that before. And this is like really young us. So this is the meeting that I think we talked about last episode where we showed up severely underprepared and we just got obliterated in this meeting. I mean, it was just bad as a meeting can go. But we learned a lot from it, and that backtrack came from it. But that is that's
Who's in that room? What does the investment or the panel look like that you're meeting with? Are they polite or are they just brutal?
Yeah, usually with other investors, it was it's been like a panel, but in this situation, it was just us and the one, we won't name her. She's great now. We've talked since, but us and the one woman. And I think what was interesting is like again, they wanted to see who we were, but they weren't taking us quite seriously because we were like the Florida people. So it's like, all right, just one partner will interview them and like we'll see how it goes. So it was just us and her, and she was just, I mean, on the money. And yeah, it was rough. It was rough, but it was just us and her.
I see where you're going with that, Chris. Just real quick, Jordan. There's certain investors that are super cool. Let's go hang out. Let's play golf. Let's do whatever. And then there's other ones that are like, I don't really get it. So like, are you guys not doing your own technology? I don't understand why are you not doing this? Like, they'll really grill you. I would say we think, now this is a generalization. West Coast investors like Adam, he does what's called betting on the jockey, which is, I like you guys. I don't really understand how you're going to make money off of it, but it's, you'll figure it out. You're smart. Right. And then you have like maybe what's more traditionally East Coast investors. Again, not because we have East Coast investors that are not like this, but typically East Coast investors are more like, let me see the business plan. I don't understand how your margins don't make any sense here. Where is this going to go? Like, let me see where this is going to go. And at this point, you have to keep in mind, we had no real business plan. Like, I would never probably present what we had at the time, but the traction was there, which made it interesting. If we had no traction, no business plan, we probably wouldn't have even gotten the meeting.